All right, so we're rolling. Today, first chat of this new project that we're trying to undertake. We're calling it Panini BTC. I'm standing for blockchain trading card. And what I want to do is through this project, I want to talk about the Panini NFT sports cards project. They're doing a lot of work there. I think it's a really interesting project. There's a lot going on and a lot of potential for growth as new collectors. And I've only recently gotten into it, but it's held my interest extremely well. I think it's a great alternative way of collecting. It solves a lot of issues that has sometimes present with physical cards. And so today for the first interview, it was just fitting that we have Spinotron, as he's often called in the hobby. Dingo is his name. So Spino, firstly, welcome to the show and thanks for taking time out to chat.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm happy to chat about Panini blockchain.
Absolutely. All right. So if you could just, I mean, you're a big physical card collector as well. So if you could just tell us a little bit about how you got into cards and how you started collecting, and then also how you got into blockchain and how you discovered the Panini NFT project.
Okay, yeah. So basically, I think I grew up in China. I'm a sports fan. I like to collect in general. So once I get into something, I deep dive and try to do it really thoroughly. So I think it's around maybe 1996 in the Bulls era. I read a manga book called Slam Dunk, which got me into the basketball, and then I watched NBA and read the magazine. On the magazine, there's a ad saying there's a hobby shop in Beijing. So I went there once in a while and opened some packs. And then I went abroad to study in the UK and in the US. And I was in and out of the hobby. So the hobby for me at the beginning was just opening some packs, right? Like to enjoy without really chasing from the secondary market. But around 2009, I got back into it and starting to look at eBay and picking up some cards. Firstly from Kobe Bryant cards and then chase some sets. I think the Panini blockchain started officially released through some auctions called Dutch auctions. So it goes down from 100,000 down to a time where it's bought, right? So the price is really determined by one person, and it's a really mind game, right? You try to get it as cheap as possible, but once you miss out one time, next time you are kind of FOMO. So
Yeah.
I was already there in the first week, so I got a Garnet version. And then I don't think I was fully aware there's a marketplace or any pack drops already at the time. So I was doing physical cards still. I think around Christmas time, 2021, I really learned that there's a secondary marketplace and a pack drop of NBA second series. So that's when I got into it really thoroughly. And one reason the blockchain works for me and its appeal to me is because I'm kind of live abroad often, and it's hard to really have cards in hand, right? You have to have a kind of a vault type of service to help you handle the cards. And so blockchain is, I'm basically doing the blockchain style of collecting since I was abroad. So it's very natural. Yeah. And technologically, blockchain is more kind of native and fundamental. Yeah.
So I think the technology, blockchain as a whole, and the digital collecting experience, it resolves a lot of pain points of physical collecting, and it offers, I think, a great alternative to the physical collecting experience. And you'd be the best person to shed some light on what are the very specific problems of the physical experience that the NFT projects or the blockchain trading card solves.
Yeah. I think the physical collecting will always be there, right? It's like almost 200 years existence, and people collect at all levels, part of the culture. But at every step of the way, there's always a counterparty involved. You have to trust, right? At the beginning, you have to trust the wax you're getting it's kind of searched, and it's a sealed original. And when you open the pack, either yourself or through a breaker, then sometimes to maximize the value or to make it transaction seamless, you have to assure authenticity, right? You have to grade the card, which involves a lot of steps. And then in order to sell the cards, you have to familiar with everything, like which marketplace is best and how to do auctions. Different auction houses has different audiences, and there's shipping involved. And also, when you get the card, you have to store it, whether it's in the vault or in the bank. And the amount of time in between is tremendous. And sometimes it's hard to capture the timing, right, in the sports, and also the passion. For example, when something is available, you are really passionate and you really want to own it. But if it takes like weeks and months to finally have it, maybe it's a different feeling. And also you can build on the passion. Once you secure an item, you can keep doing it instead of just have to wait for the whole process to complete. So that for that perspective, blockchain is more kind of, I would say, frictionless, and everything's like built in. You have the card manufacturer or creator and auction house and the vaulting and the shipping, everything kind of unified in one place, right?
And I think I can attest to that as someone who lives in India, again, which is quite far from the epicenter of all the physical hobby activity. I've had a lot of challenges in terms of shipping, insurance, getting the card graded. I've also been subject to numerous fraudulent activities. I've been scammed in the past, and again, that's a big part of, I think, a big problem of the physical hobby is that there's always the risk of some sort of fraud or something going wrong, and the blockchain experience sort of removes all of those bad actors, because there's very little space for someone to trick you into doing something that you don't want to do.
Yeah. I think these days there are a lot of imitators on the marketplace, right? On the eBay, sellers selling stuff they don't own or try to make custom cards which really look increasingly similar to the real cards. And for certain era, the cards are really valuable, and you really need to do thorough research to make sure it's authentic.
That actually happened to me once. So I ordered some cards of I think from Hong Kong, and I paid via PayPal within service. So there was a I think a 6% fee on the transaction. But when I actually got the cards in hand, so it was a stained glass variation. And when I got the cards in hand, I could just tell that something was wrong. Those were like custom printed cards. They were not authentic cards. And then I had to have this long battle with the seller over PayPal. And then the seller keeps on saying that they're authentic. And there's really no way to prove to PayPal that these cards are fake unless you can send them to grade. Fortunately, it ended up in my favor, but really those cases can go any of two ways.
Yeah, and also it gives a bad taste in the mouth, right? Especially for the new collectors.
Yeah,
you feel that the field is very difficult.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
get involved.
And so
also
I think
provenance is a key part in the hobby, which means is a chain of the ownership, right, from the very beginning to the current. I think in other fields of collecting, knowing where the items comes from in which collection actually adds to the value and the historical precedence, everything. So it's part of the collecting structure, especially for really, really high end and real items. But the provenance is already part of the data, right? Metadata on the blockchain side is on the listing page of card. That part is nice. You can tell when it's changing hands. So
and you can there's a lot more data put to the card itself, right? You can tell who owns the card, you can tell who's owned the card in the past, you can look at the price history of the card, each time it has changed hands, how much it was paid for. And I think a lot of the data, and plus especially with some of the rarer cards, you know the exact print run on how many of each card is printed. So you have a very accurate understanding of the overall supply and to a certain extent demand dynamics of the marketplace. So,
that's right. You can. I think recently there is a market update, right? On the page there are more data than before, and you can tell there's a pie chart. There is a lot of dotted diagram of all the historical data, so you can tell the trend, the spread, and also the owner composition, right? How many people own how many cards and so on. Yeah, it's good. And one thing, let me just add before I forgot. Because the provenance data is part of the card information, right? Can be thought of as a part of the card kind of value. So sometimes when athletes achieve some tremendous feat, right, or win a big game, me and some other collectors in the community, they like to buy some nice card, which because the transaction happens at that time, it's logged on the ledger. Like this is transacted at this date, and this date happens to be one of the big moments of their career. So that adds value to the collectability and basically connects the real world sports with the collectible part of the data. It's a very big deal, I think. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think collectors can also capitalize on those big moments much faster. Like if there's something happening, they could be selling a card in real time. And
that's
like someone has a big game. Yeah, someone has a big game and they can just sell that card, list that card right now and can sell within the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. I think we have seen many instances. For example, a bounty is placed on the card, and when the card was pulled, from a pulled to sold, right? It can be like just 20 minutes, and you have the card with you, and the seller has the money with him. So and also for the breakers who want to enjoy the experience, but with a certain money set aside for the hobby, right? When you break, you try to get the money back as much as you can, and then you can do it again. So this process is extremely streamlined, like the blockchain side, right? In the physical side, as I mentioned, there are several steps to get the money back. It takes a long time, and the return of investment is much less. On the blockchain side, maybe we can cover later, and maybe in the future guests, they can cover some, because some are really good at using the blockchain like utilities and events where there are multiple ways to get value from the pack. Pull cards from the pack, which each card can be a hit, right? Then you get value by selling. But even for the scrap player cards, they can be useful for some challenges, crafts, which
we can talk about that
higher than the scrap player sometimes.
Absolutely. No, I think we can circle back to it a little further down in the conversation. But it's also very it has now become a very native experience for physical collectors as well, because most people tend to now store high-end cards in vaults, right? You store them in vaults. I store my high-end cards in vaults, and I'm sure a lot of other people in the US who have high-end cards tend to store them in vaults. So a lot of the physical side of the hobby is now used to looking at their collections on their phones. They don't have them in hand.
Yeah, that's right.
And so it sort of weaves into that native feeling of going through your collection on your phone.
Yeah, I think the hobby really takes off when like the financial people or the platform builder, infrastructure builder, they come along to make a data like driven and also provide infrastructures, right? Like the vaults and marketplace, so that everything is more digitalized and more like try to be less friction, right, in the vault, and more insurance, everything is centralized, and you can when something transacts, it stay within the platform, right? They don't want to withdraw right away, charge higher premium. If you want to do it right away, you wait 3 months, they charge less. But then as you wait longer, probably the feeling to withdraw is less, right? And then they can think of the card is within the marketplace. Sometimes when a good game happens, people sell so they take some fees from those kind of things. There are theses, but for the blockchain side, it's very much the same, except there's no physical carrier, right? There's no, which can be a good thing because there's no liability involved. And I recently summarized this as a kind of mini-max kind of property. You want to have an asset which is maximal in terms of enjoying all the nicest attributes, right? The value propositions. But you also want it to be minimal, right? Like less extrinsic distracting features, less liability and other hurdles, right? So this is a big kind of technological advance where this is really kind of magnified, and being part of hobby, I think as hobbyists, it's a blessing, but it's also still nascent, right? It's still growing, and not many people actually aware of there exist watching cards and so on. So that's a big part of this kind of projects will help to kind of spread the message and bring some more awareness to people.
Absolutely. So for someone coming from the physical side, the Panini NFT project is probably the most logical transition to the digital. But there are also a lot of other projects. If someone wants to invest in or even collect sports-driven or sports-based NFT projects, They have a few other options out there as well. There's Top Shot, there's So Rare. I'm sure there are a few others that probably you know about. So what I think, what pulls you towards the Panini NFT project, and what's your thoughts on all of those other projects that are going around?
Yeah. I think I have a very good understanding not only for the sports NFT landscape, but the NFT in general. But let's just focus on the sports, right? Which is more relevant.
Yeah.
I think the underlying object of the collectible has to be something that is kind of long tradition, right? Of a big, worldwide, large and deep fan base, right? Total addressable market has to be big, and has to be basically the object it's pegged against has proven to be successful, right, in the physical world. So there's something that can be captured in the digital. So for example, Top Shop, it's a video which is less collected, right? People just pay a subscription fee to watch games or clips on YouTube and stuff to avoid ads. So there's no fundamental tradition for that, right? But I think there's space for a lot of such projects to exist. I think the Topps NFT, I think, has some marketplace woes. Like the marketplace has been halted for like years, and there's no solution for a while. And I think the community is not too active. There's also Brady's autograph projects, but there's lack of license from the teams. There's also So Rare, which is kind of fantasy based, right? When the season is on, I think it's a lot of like utility, you can play with it, but as it's a double-edged sword, right? Once you have a utility, once the utility is finished, the value of the collectible is not gonna be long, right? It's not longevity. So it's but I think longevity is the must for a collectible to succeed, right? I think for everything considered, I think because of the Panini physical cards has been around since 2009, and also basically dominated the major sports in a very kind of exclusive way, right? They have like an exclusive license for NBA and NFL, and also have a lot of licenses with the athletes. So it's so that their resources and also the fan base it's tremendous. And also as you can see from market data, all their physical famous sets from like the National Treasures, Immaculate, Flawless, Prism, selling really, really well. So it's natural to expect similar designs, much less quantity out there and much earlier in the iterations, right? Should be more, at least as collectible or even better than the physical side. But as of right now, because of the user base, it's less. And also there's a kind of, I would say, psychological kind of transition you have to go through, right? To from physical to digital. So right now the ratio between a SIM card, everything is equal. Digital still have a lot of room to catch up with the physical, which also means a good opportunity for people who want to collect with a good cost basis and a good potential in the future.
And I've seen that firsthand. It's coming from someone who's collected physical extensively. I had this big wall in front of me that would just prevent me from thinking that digital collectibles really made sense. And I always thought that they could not replicate the physical experience. But after having done it, I think it was a big mistake on my part to think that way. I think the entire experience is almost mirrors the physical experience without all of its downsides. In terms of how you're buying cards, how you're selling cards, how you're having them, your ownership over the card, I think it's just as much, if not more, of an enjoyable process collecting blockchain. And I can understand someone from who's collected physical for a long while being a little apprehensive of the digital side, because I had that apprehension as well. But after having tried it out and after having dipped my toes into it, it's been a game changer. I mean, I've been blown away by the experience.
I think especially for the overseas people, right? Like everything is so hard, like customs and getting the wax is hard, allocated very small in the local car shop. And basically some seller refuses to sell overseas. You have to find the US kind of media person and so on. I think the blockchain side, I think I think one way to think about it is really the blockchain cards and physical cards are actually the same object, right? One is just printed on a piece of paper, right? Print once because you want certain item to be just allocated one time, right? You cannot. There's 10 Prism Gold. You don't want to be more. So So although they are printed, they are like licensed and really authorized to print once, right? The authentic copy. But the blockchain side is the same. It's printed or like minted on the blockchain, right? And also exactly the same methodology, curation, and rarity. So it's basically the medium of conveying the information, right? Or presenting, showcasing the collectibles. I have a lot of discussion with the long-term physical friends. They are really passionate. We can we have WhatsApp exchanges regularly, and they think about cards all the time, look at their phone all the time. But the cards, of course, are not stored at home, right? It's in a bank or in the vaults. So they told me although they are doing this, but they haven't touched the cards for like years and years. But they are thinking about it and enjoying it by a picture and everything. So it's really, even if you are collecting physical and only in the physical and want to stay entirely within the physical, but if you think about the lifetime of your collecting experience, the amount of time you are holding the physical and the amount of time you are staying, like the card staying with you, is really limited, right? Almost like zero. So it's more like a mindset, right? I think the physical picture taken, it's very limited. It's not official, but this blockchain thing is very nice rendering. I think it's same amount of enjoyment, I would say.
No, absolutely. I think I agree with you. I think it's psychological. I mean, when you think about it, like even cards, I think you rightly said, I mean, they're printed by a company, and I could always print them out myself, but they will not be the same. Right. And it's the exact same thing. Like someone went out and said, hey, let's print cards. Let's have an athlete's picture on a piece of cardboard and let's sell them. Like someone said that once. And that's how like people started to print cards and then start to sell them, and then companies were built out of it. And the exact same thing is happening with the digital side. Is instead of printing it, they're now minting them on the blockchain. So I think a lot of it is psychological. So hopefully that resolves over time once more physical collectors have exposure to how extraordinary of an experience this is. I mean, after having done this for a while. So
it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be completely replaced, right?
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be a paradigm shift. You just allocate a little bit of your energy and resource to this side. It doesn't hurt, and also complement really well. I think hobbyists tend to focus on one thing, but they can certainly play a kind of a number game or ratio, right? You do something on this part, and I think the different market has different behavior, and one can release earlier. I think there's also the chasing the digital can be kind of maybe a one opportunity for you to play out. And if you want to do the physical as your main thing, is kind of like practice round sometimes, like certain chase and how do you strategize to locate certain cards. I think it's definitely good to have both. I think a lot of people are like have experience in both, but sometimes they just they're not vocal, or they stopped, or they haven't thought through carefully like what it means on the blockchain side. I think hopefully through this series, talking to different collectors, which will bring them to the forefront, people can understand from different angles and background. It'll be helpful.
No, absolutely. So I just want to touch upon one aspect of a lot of NFT projects that sort of stands out over the rest, which is community. So from what I have heard and from what I've seen is that community plays a big part in driving these projects forward. It's very important that community remains alive and well. After having been part of the Panini NFT community, I see a lot of stuff happening there. There's been the new marketplace update. There's new challenges, crafts, all of them. And then staking is going to be happening soon. So what are your thoughts on the community aspect and how it's playing out over the next few years?
I think the NFT kind of craze happened during the COVID when everybody kind of stuck at home, right? I think a special version of NFT called profile picture, PFP, every project has certain amount of items minted, right? Usually by generative methods, like some random combination, and people buy them, hold them as part of community, and also showcase your personality. And it comes with utilities and some promises by the team, right? So in some sense, as community always is part of the NFT kind of activities. And Discord and often X or Instagram, right? They are places where people interact. Discord in Panini blockchain is very active. Like one night there are like 200 different discussions, right? People write like thesis, like books on Discord, and they talk about sports, and they're collecting philosophy, share their milestones. I think it's you feel the companionship. Sometimes some people just stay for the friendship and like share, like they watch sports and they want to share, like when a big moment happened, they want to talk about it. It's a nice experience. That's the actual community, but there's also kind of the community through the platform and through the kind of release, right? There's various kind of challenges where something is called challenge in the Panini blockchain context is that you have timed window and there's an award to be earned, right? You have to collect some cards they will announce at the start of the challenge, and you have to complete them. And often, depending on like player and kind of the parallels of the card, it can be really kind of popular, and there are people can make some money from this by being quick or collect the sets ahead of time, or just be reasonable and build a network of buyers, right? Help each other out. So there are money to be made, but also sometimes the challenge is really challenging. So the community helps each other. Sometimes they make it more challenging for people. Like some people have more copies to prevent people from reach certain. They want to for the print run. And certain things. So it's designed as a, you would think it's utility, right? But also the utility is not taken away from the big cards, right? The challenge, the big cards doesn't decrease in value. Its utility is added to the worthless cards, which wouldn't be coveted anyway. So at the end, those money paid to the small cards kind of accounted for the final price, which is very, very popular and has a history.
And it keeps and keeps the money moving within the ecosystem. Like there's just the volume of transactions that keeps the volume of transactions quite high.
I think the one good thing is about the blockchain is everything is transparent. So it's not like one person saying this or that, right? It's just you go to certain places, like there's something called a cryptoslam.com, right? It's an API, has all the sales data aggregated. You can tell like monthly active or daily active users, like seller, buyer, owners, and how much different transactions go. And on the Panini side, on the website, on the like app side, there's a top 6 per week. In the Discord, there's also a sub channel called price tracker. It shows all the sales above 200. It will and people, it's kind of like a real time news. Something happened. So those are part of the give you a kind of a pulse, right? Which is hardly felt in the physical side, right? Because there's no like organized like showcasing of such activities.
No, so I think it's a very gamified experience. It's a and that sort of brings the community together. There are a lot of transactions happening. There are a lot of activities happening. So there's stuff to look forward to at all times. Is what I've sensed over the last couple of months. So tell me one thing. I think staking is going to be introduced soon to the platform. And there's word that it'll like a lot of people would the set collectors will be rewarded, and a lot of people will be incentivized to collect sets. So any words on that?
I think first of all, I'm not a part of the team, right? So it's basically what I'm thinking is from my experience, what I've seen out there for other projects, how they do things, and I also I have some like relationship with the team, right? I give them some feedbacks, and I think community member can give them feedback through a channel on the Discord, which is all the suggestions, right? You can make a post, they will look at it. from my understanding, I think staking fundamentally is a way to basically take something out from the ecosystem. By doing that, you reduce the supply, right? Which helps the demand, helps the price. And for the increase the price, because the platform has a fee associated to each transaction, so they have a increased royalty, right? Or transaction fees.
Yeah.
So by you sacrificing, taking out from the ecosystem, from a circulation, the platform gain an extra fee. So the extra fee, in theory, can be distributed to those people to incentivize them in doing so.
Yeah.
And also encourage collecting behavior, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like saving, right? You put it in the CD and you should have higher interest and just checking it. But that's just, I think, a notion of DeFi, right? But you have to be careful. It's basically a collectible experience. You don't want to be a financial instrument.
Yeah.
Be much more like regulation involved. So, but it can be like they can issue some currency. For now, it's like block points, which can be currency leads to different collecting rewards, which are bought only purchasable from the block points. I think staking is a complicated problem. For it to be really a difference maker, it cannot be just the most like naive way, right? It has to be some thinking involved. Basically, I think it's a notion of DeFi, and also there is an intrinsic value, but there is also a perception in the expected value. So as we often see in the crypto world, the expected value or the market cap actually can be higher than the underlying value. For example, the MicroStrategy, their stock price is 3 times of the Bitcoin holding, right? And also the Pudgy Penguin, which is a popular kind of PFP project. They drop some coins. The total market cap right now is like 2.5 billion, but the total market cap of the collection is only a third of that. So so if you do certain notion well, it can actually create value, right? Panini so far has, through primary and secondary sale and packs and Dutch auctions, everything, the total aggregate volume is like around 83 million, right? Suppose you have a way to implement staking or some other things that can have 3x of this underlying market cap. That would be huge. It's crazy amount of capital involved. I think the team should be doing a lot of math and try to think outside of the box. You want it to be not short-lived, right? You want it to be not like a meme coin, just like a pause. That's it. You want to be long-term, but also creative and exciting, so that it's beyond people's expectation. Then the value can be more.
So going back to the collecting experience, now this is a question that I had early on, and that I'm sure a lot of people who are coming in from the physical side would have as well. Is that with physical, there are certain types of cards, or there are certain sets that stand out. So Prism tends to do well consistently, right? There are brands that Panini has: Prism, Select, Immaculate, National Treasures, all of these. And then there's specific subsets within these cards that also tend to do well. Like the Prism Gold, the Prism Blacks. Across the board, they do well. So does that also translate to the digital realm? And what I've seen is there's a lot of other funkier stuff with the Panini blockchain. So there's like the tiger stripe, and there's the zebras and the snakeskin parallels and all of that. So and I've seen that these are also and they're also sought after. So there are parallels that are numbered out of 3. So there's like just 3 copies of the card, and those are still sought after. That is sometimes not true with physical. Like if there's a gold out of 10 and there's a green out of 5, people would much rather have the gold out of 10. Does that translate over to the digital experience?
I think there is a connection definitely to the physical, right? Because the underlying assets is the physical. So people often talk about the physical to digital ratio for the same card. You both have the same card. So there's some connection there. But I think the community largely is also an independent crowd, right? Like, for example, the Kaboom as an insert is one of Panini's most popular. In the community, that was like the unanimous number 1 insert, and all the other insert kind of fell off a cliff after that. partly because the kaboom, in order to get a gold kaboom, you have to crazy process called a crafting, which lasts for like 30 seconds. You have to be competing against everybody, and the whole process is like high staking, kind of a very kind of high pressure situation. Like you have to make a clutch shot, right? So as a result, those kind of, I think basically the mechanism how the card is issued is part of the valuation, right?
Yeah.
For people to make the crafting in time, you have to collect the whole sets for different subsets in order to be able to have them ready, right, when it's starting. So that alone has a lot of value already invested into the cards. So that make it different. For other, like for example, downtown and the color blast, those are like in physical could be selling on the same like ballpark, right? Sometimes, at least for the silver kaboom.
Yeah.
But most of them are just pack pulled, right? Sometimes can be a special pack, like crafted pack, but there's less like challenge involved, and also I think design wise, I think the kaboom is really nice.
Yeah.
Regarding the other, like I think not everything in physical exists on the blockchain, because blockchain is still a growing community, and they don't dump on us everything, right? In the physical, every year there are like maybe 50 products.
Yeah.
On the blockchain for each sports, maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And it has to be, because blockchain side, the appeal has to be visual, right? It's easier to implement refractors rather than auto patch cards, right? So once the pack release happened in the middle of 2021, all the cards released later through packs, like intrinsic, natively blockchain packs, they are all prism based, refractor based, like prism, optic, select, sometimes a mosaic, and sometimes flawless, because flawless have like the base and some autograph on it, which is easy to implement. So those kind of products are the mainstream, and for those products, there's a easy collecting philosophy, because no matter how you print out the silver and the base, the top end always constant, right? There's always one of one there. There's a gold. And if you focus on those, no matter how they release, you are not impacted, right? It's dilution proof. And every year there's only like 2 or 3 things to chase. So if you're a real collector, it's very easily translatable from the physical side.
Yeah.
But there are also, as you mentioned, various parallels which can come from the challenge, which means there will be a number of people complete the challenge, so the print run will be the same group of people, right? So it's can be 2 or 3, can be like a random number. For example, recently the Mahone Nebular Challenge finished with the 16 completions, so it's out of 16 instead of out of 1 in physical. There's various nuances which we can discuss. I did on X, I created a community recently. I plan to post regularly some nuances, some extra things on the blockchain side to share with the people. So if people follow along, after a while, they will get a hang of it.
And
from the bottom.
And that's a big part of why I think I'm doing this is there's not a lot of documentation out there for someone who wants to start to understand how things work. If they have questions, I mean, you can always join the community, and people are always super helpful there, and they can help you. They can show you the way around. But with that being said, it would be immense if there'd be resources out there that sort of take people through their ropes, the first few steps of getting into the community, buying their first few cards, how the platform works, how the marketplace works. So I think big part of the reason why probably setting all of this up is so that newer collectors who want to enter, want to understand how it works, have at least a reference point for things.
Yeah. And also, I think there's a content which is opportunity, right? There's a big gap where there's nothing on blockchain side.
Yes.
Even on the physical side, people just talk about like prices, right? Prices a few years ago and now, or doing some breaking kind of highlights where people are shouting about certain pools. Or people sharing about other people's kind of grills. People spend all their hard work to get a couple of cards. And their posts get like 20 likes, and the people who sharing them have like 1,000 likes, right? it's not I think there's a lot of room for the content to grow. I think through kind of Discord, I mean podcast type of discussion like this, and also it can put a like collector, like a persona in front of beyond just the username, right, on the blockchain. And people can know there are real people behind it. What's the story? Why they come to this platform? Why they are doing this? I know some people are really well accomplished in their life and very addicted to the platform in a good way, right? They complete all the challenges, chase all the cards as much as they can, and try to help people. Or sometimes people are very competitive also. So there are certain things like this, just like the real world.
Absolutely. So, Spino, tell us about your collecting philosophy. How are you approaching the collecting on the blockchain? And if you could show us maybe some of your cards on there.
Okay, cool.
Maybe your top 5.
Top 5. That's cool. So let me quickly say it's I think there is several strategy that can be like implemented, right? Because the whole thing is frictionless, which means if you play it well, if you scale it well, it can be really kind of lucrative, right? Or can be made into a business model. But I think for the long-term collector, it's no-brainer, right? You just pick the best cards. I mean, within your means, right? Within the reason of the price, you can get it and try to hold it for a bit because the market is still growing and the perception is still growing, right? We see the NFT sentiment is back and crypto is strong. There's a bull run to be happening. So I think the overall infrastructure has changed big time, right? Since 2 years ago, and there will be other price triggers along the way. So just secure as much as nice cards as you can. That's one way, right? Which is basically the methods of high-end collectors, right? But you can also do value collecting or try to spot good pieces at missed prices or at like less competition and obviously undervalued item. You can do that and then try to price it fairly after you acquire it. After a little while, it can be sold, or a player has a great game. It can bring some interest in and get it sold. But there are also like, for example, more kind of Panini specific ways. Like, for example, the recent Nebula challenge, right, in the NFL, which is the first introduction to Prism in the NFL side. Nebula, which is very popular in the physical side. So in order to get that, you have to have for each player announced for the challenge, there has to be 15 tiger stripe out of 25, right, to be had. So you can either buy them when the challenge begins, which is specific 15 cards you have to get, or you can collect the set beforehand when there's less interest. I think if you play this kind of thing, you can make money. Like and I think that if people are mindful and doing some research and see how everybody else is doing, I think there's plenty of approaches to. It's not just I think it's just a really real life marketplace. It's not just
and so obviously for the people who want to collect, there's a ton of opportunities because it's primarily a platform for collections to be built, but also for the people who are in for the very short term opportunistic plays. There's also a lot of room for that. I mean,
I think
there's plenty of space for people to make those small flips, even larger flips.
I think the one thing is to be quick, right? At the beginning of a challenge, if you are quick, you get them cheap and the markup, people still buy. Or at the new release, when the first few pool are hit, all the big buyers are still breaking or still not around. I think there is an easy like 2x or 1x from the first sale to the second sale. And as the supply gets less, the competition goes up and the first card can be more valuable. I think I did some fun kind of data comparison. I compare MicroStrategy basically. One is one of the best stock, outperforming everything. And there are some cards bought on the Panini side for the same time and same amount, which has a return on investment, which is like 10x compared to the MicroStrategy. Those are not easily replicable, but if you are patient and doing some time, you can spot those opportunities, right?
And even with packs, so there was the Prism FOTL drop, I think a couple of weeks back, And if you were quick, I think those sold out in the first 10 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And if you were quick enough and if you got a few of them, like they're selling for more than double what they first sold for. And that's a big, like that's a sizable opportunity for anyone who's in there for those short-term plays.
Yeah, I think I've emphasized that pack opportunity as early as 2 years ago, right? There are certain packs which are EV plus or just so many reasons for it to do well, right? In the secondary market. Yeah. You just, sometimes even the pack takes a few days to sell out. If you get in, you still can make some money when the overall pack fall below a certain threshold, maybe less than 2,000 packs left, and price start to become significantly more than the retail price. Yeah. So let me so asking the top 5 cards, which is really difficult.
Let's start with number 5, and then we can go to number 1.
Okay. So there are different sports and also different origins, right? Which I often talk about. So let's me to be a little bit more diverse, right? So cover.
So before you show us your collection, if you could just talk about like how you're approaching your collecting. So I know that you try to collect the first serial number, and the last serial number, and the jersey numbers.
Yeah. So those are, it's called a special number collecting because it kind of makes a card out of 2 or 3, right? So it's no matter how large the print is, your goal is very focused.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's helpful because you can easily get lost, right? So many choices and with limited resources, how do you manage, right? If you focus on a few players, a few cards, some significant serial number, it brings the targets to a manageable size and you can enjoy it, right? Instead of just chasing everything. For me, I like historical significance a lot. So for first appearance of a notion, right? If I get a first serial, that's basically historically first of introduction of such notion, or the last kind of number sometimes appear extremely useful if it's kind of last of the run, right? Kind of end of the era, kind of you have last number of that card is also important. Jersey number is just it's unanimous. Like even in the physical hobby, jersey number has like 2 or 3x easily for good cards. And my philosophy is still, I think, to summarize briefly, it's like the coffin card versus commodity cards, right? So the commodity cards means something that is always available. It can be very good card, it can be very expensive card, but it's always available. Or relatively available. And sometimes all you require is you have the money, right, to buy. It's replaceable. And so people, when they need the money, they sell them, or when the price goes up, they sell them, right? They try to play the exit and enter game. When the price goes down, they panic sell them, right? So it's not very stable and supply is always there. So and also as the hobby is growing, I think maybe some commodity cards will become less commodity-like, right? More taken away, kind of not in the circulation. But the coffin cards to me is like, I think it's very hard to define exactly what it means. It's basically a cornerstone piece. Once you have it, right, it's very hard for you to sell it. Basically, you really want to keep it. It can be really, really important. It's very lucky for one to have it. And many people want it, right? They will pester you, like try to sell it. And then when you sell it, it's extremely hard to replace. Basically, there's no chance you can get it back. Often, I think if lucky, I think a collector can have only very few coffin cards throughout their collecting, right? If you do it well, I think not paper hand, not to like just quickly get rid of them. I think the growth is tremendous. Like people can really enjoy a huge investment size, and also the enjoyment is huge, right? That you're owning one of the very special piece. So for the coffin cards, I would think it's very stable and upside is huge, right? So I try to collect those. I think as you enter the hobby for a little bit and cultured enough, you should be able to tell whether a card is coffin card or commodity. And it's kind of like Oriental philosophy, right? It's kind of not exact, but very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me try to find some cards. I have a big screen here so that I can show.
Yeah.
Maybe so. Let's go down, right? Like top 10 style, top 5 style.
Yeah.
Right. So I need to log in here real quick. So number 5, it's very hard to say. Maybe this one.
With the kind of collection you have, I bet it's extremely difficult to narrow it down to 5. But
Yeah, I would think maybe let me start with. I think debut maybe it's one of the thing that is interesting. Let's share this. Give me a second. So basically, debut is a blockchain unique thing, right? It looks like this, right? Um, basically designs like the physical, except I can fold it up a little bit more. So, right. So it's gone. Sorry, just a second. So I think the big support of the blockchain is the pack release. And the first pack release is through a test run. So there's only, the set is only 300 players, and each player only have 3 cards. So it's, and a pack has 3 cards.
okay.
So it's only 300 packs, and those turn out to be extremely coveted somehow. Like it doesn't blow up big. So it's like this.
Each card is just numbered to 3?
Yeah, number 3.
Okay.
And it has a debut badge on it. It says debut.
Okay.
So in that sense, it's very blockchain unique because it signifies the first appearance of pack pool from a digital pack, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think good player in debut is one of the best cards on the platform.
So is that LeBron number 5 on the list?
Yeah, maybe number 5. Yeah, out of 2. I think it's very nice. I think because it's also it's owned by a long-term collector who always listed as 100,000 every time. Yeah. And then later I managed to be able to discuss with him and still give a very strong price. Yeah. Let me try to pull it up in a big way. So it's because I haven't. So this new platform somehow, new update is not very compatible with this yet, maybe.
With your older device?
Yeah, because it is Android also. It's not Apple.
Yeah, it could be.
Let me quickly find it. So let me just using the year. I think the year is 2021. And the collection is 2020, actually. So this is very strange because they released this through middle of 2021 for 2020 release, the first appearance of the pack. I think this is the one. Yeah, and let me find the LeBron. Okay. Yeah, it's right there. And you can also search by rarity. Epic means it's 25 or less, and yeah, then it shows up like this. Yeah, it's like this. And it's like,
oh, got it.
This device is quite.
Yeah, now I can see the debut badge as well.
Yeah. So it's here. It's very special because in physical it's always serial number. There's no debut, right, on the card. So this is quite nice. I think a lot of nice players debut are still available, like still with the first owners. I think if people really like NBA and like the historical aspect, they should try to get a couple. Yeah. So that's number 5. Number 4, probably, I think maybe, I would say, I really like this one. Just give me a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, because.
So they made, so Panini made the debut with NBA, yeah?
Yeah, with the NBA packs, right? Exactly, right.
Got it.
Yeah.
So only the NBA packs from 2021 have the debut badge, not any others, right?
Yeah, not any other because it's released in the July or August 2021, and then later that year they did the football one and then the second generation S2 of NBA. So it's really debut of all like sports of the blockchain packs. Yeah. So yeah, this the fourth
Alright.
one, maybe this one. It's a jersey number, the Yao downtown horizontal. It has the Great Wall and the Chinese flag on it.
Yeah.
So it's really nice because I'm from China originally, and not often you can see those kind of national landscape on the car. Yeah. So it's and also the first Yao downtown and
Yeah.
to
And
be
those
able.
are those. I think those are great designs as well. I think Panini over the years has done an incredible job with the designs on the cards, especially with their inserts. Like, I don't think Topps has ever matched up to Panini in terms of how they designed the inserts with downtown, the kabooms.
Yeah, I think even Ops, they try to mimic some of the downtown concept, right? Even the kaboom a little bit. Yeah, I think it's a different. I think Topps always try to do the superfractor a lot. And then variations, right? Each card has multiple variations.
Yeah.
That's their identity even from the 90s. So it's different, but yeah. But they also have some cool stuff. The third one, maybe, let's see. So maybe the Mahomes. Yeah, he's about to have the playoffs. He has a break in the playoff because his team is too well. Yeah, the first week is gonna be a bye week. So yeah, this one, maybe this Mahomes.
Okay.
So this is something called OG 100, which means the first 100 blockchain cards on the platform.
Okay.
So this is the first Mahomes licensed NFT, basically.
Okay. Got it.
Autograph
So
is autograph is flawed. It's quite nice.
Does it look like a patch auto?
Yeah. And the shield. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of not everyone is in the set, but yeah, if it's a big player in the set, it's a very important milestone because it's starting of the blockchain kind of process.
So that's another thing that a lot of people might not come to terms with immediately with the digital side, right? Is that having patches and having autos is very different in terms of when you're having it on the blockchain versus when you're having it on a physical card. And a lot of people might not understand the significance of those things on a digital card. So maybe you want to shed some light on that.
Yeah, I think it's a first of all, it's still when there are different patch cards, right? There are, as I mentioned in my post, there are different origins for the blockchain. So we have Dutch auction, which gives you a physical and also a blockchain, right? For example, the Mahomes just shown.
Yeah.
That's the blockchain part. There are also pack pool, as we talk about, the debut and all the things that comes after. There are also something called a pre-prism or the BC vintage, which means it's part of the physical products. And if you redemption card, you scratch the code, you can redeem online. For the pre-prism, the patch is just a design, right? It's not associated with the physical. It still have a, you can thought of it as a rarity.
Yeah.
Right. This card has a patch.
Yeah.
Auto. It's people still think of it as auto patches. Yeah. Because it's very early in the iteration, right? So it's still very collectible and one of the best performing subcategories.
Yeah.
But later on, I think in the Dutch, because Dutch auction has the physical, I think the production is like interactive. You first have the card designed, you send it to the physical production side, right? They produce a physical card with a patch in it. Then you bring it back and the scan and the mint on the blockchain. So basically, the blockchain serves two purposes. One is the blueprint for the physical, and then once you have the patch inserted, it takes a kind of digital version of it. In this case, the patch has the physical meaning, right? Yeah. But still it's a digital. But the patch can be used from the physical side. Yeah. I think the origin is important. It being actual physical, it's probably at this stage not fully developed, right? I think there's a good notion of auto patch cards in the digital world that has not been optimized yet, right? Yeah. But yeah, there's so many room to improve. For example, the autographs so far are all same autograph. So the athletes signed once and distributed it through all the cards. I think in the future, maybe each card can be signed, just like you sign a credit card, receipt, right? That would be good.
Yeah, and I think it's very similar to a similar phenomenon that I've noticed with a different subset of cards. If you've seen the Top Chrome Disney release, they've had like autographs from Mickey Mouse and Goofy and Pluto and all of that, and people are paying top dollar for all of those cards. And you know that those are printed autographs; those have not been signed by Mickey Mouse, obviously. And yet people are paying top dollar for them.
Yeah, that's right. I think sometimes people, first time the patch and auto are introduced in the sports card, right? Back in 90s, those are the historical moments. Those cards are very important. Bring fans to the game, right?
Yeah.
It's more authorized, more legitimate than in-person auto, which is hard to verify. But then once it becomes a mainstream part of the hobby, it's really become part of the card's attributes, right? We have seen, for example, licensed Panini cards with patch that is not necessarily game used, outperforming a lot of unlicensed cards with game used and game dated, more like the patches. So from this, you can tell card collectors are chasing the card attributes, not the game used. And
the intellectual property, I think.
IP and the license are important, right? Those are the thing you are collecting, not the little swatch it has.
Absolutely.
But I think it's part of the tradition. I think people think less about what the patch is from which game and what it means, but it's more like this is a popular concept and this looks great and it's well tasted, so it's part of natural target for people to chase.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to your top two now.
Okay.
What are you looking at?
So we have to go through how many? 3.
3.
So 2. So this one could be cool, like this one. So it's like this big. So it's a kind of prism. It's a prism based 1/1, and
wow,
its animation is pretty nice.
That's the 1/1, huh?
Yeah.
So that's the gold vinyl.
Yeah, I think one of the good things about the blockchain is that 1/1 are true 1/1s, right? There's not like in the physical we have seen 4 to 5 variations: black mosaic for the vinyl, and then
nebula,
shimmer, nebula, black stars, lots of other stuff. So it offers more like a chance for people to hit on the chase, but also make 1/1 less kind of true 1/1. It's a double.
No, and now I think now all the cards, or rather most releases, have those animated.
Yeah, I think everything is animated right now, but that's the first time when that was done, so it's kind of nice also. And also I think there's still room for the display to improve, right? Which can bridge the gap between enjoying a physical card and the digital card.
I saw some discussion on the Discord about having a digital device that displays like a slab, like a card slab, and then instead of having something in the displays your NFT in the size of a PSA slab. So I saw some discussion around that on the Discord, and I think that's an interesting way to look at it. Also, we could have why just restrict ourselves to a PSA slab was my initial thought. Like you can have all sorts of displays for digital collectibles.
Yeah, I think basically to be able to show people in real life of your collection, it's a kind of one of the important, right? Like to convey the information and your collection, which you try to very hard to build. And so far, I think for the digital collectible, there's a Infinite Object, which is a company which basically video print all your NFT on a kind of digital frame type of device. So for that, you have to basically it's not licensed directly with the Panini, so it's like personal choice. But once you can imagine, like at some point, certain company can produce card size, right? 3.5 to 2.5, double screen, and of the overall size similar to a slab. And then you can present NFT in it. I think that brings the physical really, really close to the digital,
Yeah.
right? And
Agreed.
also that would be one of the goals, right?
Yeah.
To kind of make this more acceptable among
Yeah.
physical
Yeah.
people.
No, absolutely. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And then what's number one?
Yeah. Number one is this LeBron like logo man. Recently I won.
Okay. Yeah.
Take a lot of cost
Beautiful
me a lot of
cards.
money. So
Yeah.
so I think let me quickly see for this. I think it's important. So even on the blockchain side, sometimes you can get the physical card from it, right? And Panini is a company with a lot of experience, so they do not step on their own toes at all, right? They make each side collectible. So on the physical side, they have this LeBron card, but it's out of 2 with a different action shot, right? Different caption on the back. The logo man is a little bit more appealing. It's like a 75th anniversary one. But the card set is called Colossal, so it's an insert set. So in comparison, this one I won from being part of the blockchain kind of ecosystem. I know there's such a Dutch option. I won it. So this LeBron being 1 of 1, being NT on the back it doesn't say it's Colossal. It actually says it's logo man. So it's the means, right? So if you go through all the checklists, you know this is the first time in the NT LeBron has vertical mean logo man in history, 1 of 1. So it's very nice to get.
And plus the logo man has such a big history in terms of physical collecting.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I think the logo man is not easy to get in the blockchain side. You have to be Dutch or pre-Prism. Let me quickly show you the back side of this. It's kind of cool. I think not many people kind of think about this, but yeah. So, for example, on the top, it says logo, right? Logo.
Yeah. Logo, yeah.
On the physical, it says CLM, which means Colossal Logo Man. So it's insert. This is a mean set. So so I think it's Panini's message or interpretation that blockchain is as important as the physical. So you can get insight from the blockchain program.
Yeah. So just one quick question here. What do you think of soccer collectibles on the blockchain? So I noticed there wasn't a lot of soccer in your top 5. But I know that you have some big cards from soccer as well. So what are your takes on soccer in the Panini NFT space?
Right. I think the soccer, is the biggest sport globally, right? I think the audience is at a different magnitude compared to even the Super Bowl or some other stuff. So it's and the Panini has license of soccer for until like 2030 or longer. For the FIFA, I think. So it's it's one of their main like long-term plan, and also a lot of soccer releases are naturally rare. For example, Prism only appears, at least in the blockchain side, right? Only appears on the World Cup.
Once every 4 years,
4 years. So it's very rare. And also there's some natural treasure on the soccer, and some cards there is like the first appearance of 1 of 1 auto for certain people. So it's very special. So and there are a lot of passionate soccer collector, which one I featured one recently on the X. And I think you also have some nice soccer pick up from the platform.
No, and I think it ties in very neatly with how collecting is becoming increasingly globalized, I'd say. Right? Like 5 years, and I can talk about this from experience. I've seen the landscape mature in India over the last 3 years since I entered the space, and I've seen it go from almost no other collectors to now having a large landscape of people who are passionately collecting their favorite teams, their favorite players, and as this collecting, just collecting as a phenomenon goes global, and people from different parts of the world get involved. I think a lot of them will come from sports like soccer, which are of a more globalized nature. And then a lot of that will also maybe down the line bleed into the other sports. And then they also collect a little bit of basketball and a little bit of baseball and football. But I think soccer will be a big driver of the hobby, both in physical and in NFT land, in terms of global growth, I'd say. I think that my 2 cents. And I can see that very clearly happening in India.
Yeah,
And
I
I've
see.
I've bought and sold a lot of physical over the last few years. And when I started out, most of my deals happened with people in the US. And then over the last 12 to 18 months, I've had many more deals with people in Australia, with people in Europe, with people in Asia, with people in Africa, like all sorts of different parts of the world.
Yeah, I think soccer is like very global sports, right? You can play anywhere without too much structure, and
Yeah.
a lot of superstars and a lot of leagues, and
Yeah.
yeah, and also the World Cup games,
Yeah.
like a Cup of America or Euro, and those. Yeah, there's a lot of competition within the
Yeah.
club and national level. I think it's very exciting, and I think all the major brands are already presented in soccer on the Panini
Yeah.
blockchain.
Yeah. One very interesting question while we're on that topic. How do you think the Middle East is going to participate in, because this is something that I've tried to think about for a while now. There's obviously a lot of money in that region. And
Yeah,
and we've seen recently with how Saudi Arabia has been trying to make a few plays, and how a lot of the soccer events, including the World Cup, will happen there over the next few years. So how do you think that geographic geopolitical area contributes to the growth of digital collectibles?
yeah. I think that part is still not represented well so far in both physical and blockchain, right? But
Yeah.
a lot of potential because they pay crazy money to like basically attract talents to play there or
Yeah.
organize crazy leagues, right? For example, the Leaf Golf, which actually Panini has a license deal with them, probably
Yeah.
will release Prism on blockchain, right? The first golf cards and so on.
Yeah.
And also, for example, some star players like super world class Cristiano Ronaldo and other people, I think they will bring the collectors to the hobby, right? Because as people try to chase their cards,
Yeah.
um, because cards still the default symbol and currency, right, of the
Yeah.
collectible for sports people. So
Yeah.
they will bring people in naturally, and also I think we've seen people initiate certain car shows or certain high-end event or auctions in those
Yeah.
areas. I think those will definitely, yeah, I think. And also, for example, the F1 and
Yeah.
other events. I think there's so many ways to get people in, and in a geologically unique way, or
Yes.
through some like some events, right? Like certain
Yeah.
events get some special collection and so on. There's many room to have for that to happen, and also I think that is a extremely underrepresented but a huge potential. I think many
Yeah.
things can probably have a decimal increase, right? If certain
Yeah.
people get for
Yeah.
certain yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. No, I think this was a great discussion, very insightful for someone someone like me who's quite new, relatively quite new, and also for someone who's just starting out from scratch, someone who's a little more experienced. I think for all of them, there's a lot of stuff to think about. Before we hop off, one last question:
Yeah.
what's your three predictions for 2025 for digital collectibles and for the
Okay.
Panini NFT project specifically?
Prediction, right? Okay. We've seen so basically Panini Wallet, which is a kind of way to think about existing active users account, right? I think they are very passionate, but compared to certain projects which are not doing so well, but there are still people around, I think there is a chance for Panini to catch that, which will be X in size, right? 5 to 10X in size. And if there's more infrastructure upgrade or some more friendly regulation in the crypto space, right? Either no capital gain or some kind of cryptocurrency reserve or some other more friendly interpretation of owning certain things, right? Whether NFT is kind of like how do you pay taxes and how it's defined is like yeah, I think if that has some clarity under the new kind of administration, I think it will also kind of lead to some like further activities, right? I think there's, I would imagine within this calendar year, there's like maybe 5 to 10 potential 5 to 10 more audiences that
Yeah.
can be addressable to Panini marketplace, and if more regulation and more infrastructure upgrade, we can see maybe X from the Ethereum wallets, right? So those are the best case scenario. So we have 5 to 10x or 100x.
Yeah.
Or maybe we see 100x in the coming years, not this year. That's one prediction. Another prediction, we probably see a 6-figure pure blockchain sale, right? We have a sale which is very close to 6-figure, maybe 2,000 short. But we'll see a 6-figure pure blockchain sale this year, which I can even pinpoint to exactly which one is going to be Caitlin Clark, Prism Black Finance. It's one of one. I
think women's NBA is going to play a big role.
So that's a big deal because it's kind of like the big Bitcoin 6-figure moment, right? That's Panini's moment. A third prediction, let me think. Let's think what else. I think we're probably going to see golf or tennis on the blockchain this year, which will bring, because some golf player actually collects, right? And also, tennis is a very high-end sports with a lot of, it's more exclusive and you play it well, it's a lot of dedication involved, right? So this user base can be helpful. So those are 3 predictions. I have no inside clue to those, just some.
And no, it's always good. I mean, the more sports there are in terms of their presence on the blockchain, because I think people tend to enter because of one particular sport and then stay for the rest. At least that's the kind of behavior that I've noticed, and I've personally been. So I used to collect cricket cards when I was, I think, 12 or 13 years old.
Right.
And then when I saw that there were soccer cards also, I said, why not collect them too? And then that is how I got into soccer. And then now hopefully I collect a little bit of football, a little bit of basketball. But I'm sure that would happen as sports like maybe tennis, golf, cricket. These sort of sports are added to the kitty. I think there's this room for a lot of growth.
Yeah. And also there are many other ways to, because we have seen in the real world, there are like IP releases of certain collectible shape, right? They collaborate with many different franchises. So it's not only sports, but other stuff. So there's a lot of runways and a lot of possibilities to expand. And for example, I have a friend who has a platform which has like 300 million people on it, right? It's not sports, but still very big user base, right?
That's a big number.
Tap into that would be amazing. So something like that. So.
No, absolutely. All right. So, Spino, it was great. It was great speaking to you. I think this has been a very insightful conversation. I hope the users feel the same way, the viewers feel the same way. But I think very exciting times to come to look forward to. And hopefully we can have another chat on this.
Yeah, I look forward to your future episodes. Okay, thank you so much.
Absolutely. So I'm going to try and do one every week. So different guests. I think that will bring a lot of different viewpoints into the picture, and so that people can have a more holistic understanding. And apart from that, I'll also be putting a lot of content on Instagram, on X, even on YouTube, to act as a sort of marker for someone who's just entering or who's just trying to understand how things go or how the marketplace works. So hopefully they have a reference point after I create that content, and they have somewhere to go to understand how things work here. So
that's great. Sounds great. Look forward to that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, Spino. Thanks a lot. Chat soon.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Yeah.
Cool.